Mable?
And we draw Mable Tanaka from Hoppers in 4 different styles. Let's start off with the drip effect. Now, in a previous video, I talked about the drip effect, but it's going to be this kind of drip. Now, before we get too close into the video, I know what everyone's thinking, but hey, in a recent poll, Poppy Playtime won by a landslide. And, well, that is the truth, but the videos have been dipping, so I want to change it up, and we're going to work on Hoppers. So if that gets you angry, well then, I'm sorry. For this overall section, I'm not going to make it too cartoony, but I'm not going to make it too realistic. It's going to be like a nice little happy medium. One thing that I did want to focus on is the coloring with the paint pens. I really want to make and showcase the fur and the fur textures throughout. It's right about here that I pulled the cardinal sin with Poscas. I pushed it down and yeah, paint just went everywhere. So a little fun tip at home when you're using Poscas, make sure you press the tip down, not on the project you're working on, but on a side piece of paper to make sure the ink is coming out, and make sure you shake it so that it has proper ink flow. I had to rework this entire section. Last minute bright highlights popped in, and we're going to call this complete as we now move on to the notebook side. Now, I just want to take a moment to showcase something that I really love, because we're going to talk about notebooks, and this is what a notebook looks like. But this was the book that I actually hand wrote my original and sequel to my book that I am working on now. I have this book out on Amazon, and it is my passion project. It's what I love. It's what I hope and aspire to add to the community and to my channel. So, for those of you who want to help out or who want to help out the channel and really love reading, I'm going to drop the link in the comments and in the description. Now let's get back to the style. This is basically to make it look like a notebook. That fun feeling that we were getting in class when the teacher was boring as all heck and we just wanted to scribble something down. That is the homage that I really want to bring out. And shout out to Nick Moran for the one who is actually the creator of this style. It's a really cool style because it's the concept of childlike. It brings us back to those high school, middle school, and even elementary memories of just doodling page and having fun sometimes when classes were just a bit too boring. Now that we're done doodling, let's make Mable extra scary.
Here's a story that's really scarifying.
I'm such a pro YouTuber that I forgot to actually record the beginning part of the sketch, but that doesn't mean it's not all for naught. And that is because I'm going to show you one of the best tips for inking. At least that's what I like to do when I'm working on my inking, and that is by working with a medium grade ink first and establishing the darks. And this is where we're going to basically map out on the image where all of our darkest tones are with our inks. This way we kind of have an idea of the shape and the textures that we want to employ. So I am throwing out where some of the dark highlights are happening, where the teeth are kind of having those cracks and crevices on the teeth, and by putting these darks down on the page now, we really get to shape the image. Now I want to punch in those really dark darks, and that's how we're going to actually shape all the 3 dimensions, the pulled skin, the wicked tongue, all the scratching scrapes across the sides of the face. That's where all the textures and the details come out of, is these dark, jagged darks that are just popped right on the page. And the best part is when you do all these grays like this, all you have to do is just pop in color. If you're a beginner artist and you're struggling with making things look three-dimensional, try working in grays first, then work on color theory. So as you can see here, I'm throwing in some purples and some blues and some beiges and some light colors. I'm not using white and I'm not using black. But now we can throw down the nice little skin fur texture, and because we have those grays, it automatically gives us a cool little 3D effect. I'm not so much worried about realism here as using the pens and the alcohol markers to simulate fur, but to also give texture. Texture is really important with horror because there is lots of gore or blood or whatever that you're trying to emulate, whatever type of matter, whether it's a pustule or a bulbous tongue like here. So we want to use the darks and the lights to really punch up and ramp up all of the details. I love this scary thing, but now let's make it realistic. Well, with an addendum, we're going to make it Pixar. And what I mean by that is we want it to look exactly or as close to as we can to what is in the movie. Now, for those of you who see my channel a lot, we have been working on a lot of fur characters, so here is a really good tip for getting all those fur textures down. Start with your base layers of color. So there are two separate colors here. There's a darker color on top and a lighter color on the bottom, but this is where all the fur comes in. We're going to be drawing lots of little flicked hairs on, but what we're going to do is do a very specific way. Work very lightly. These are all light pressures. This is the first stage of fur. And you can use the same color pencil and you will see it does not change. That's how we're going to get all those 3 dimensions. By laying out layers basically in waves of the color that we're going to slide down on top, we're going to showcase how the fur bends, but we're also going to build 3 dimensions. So now as we work darker with that same color to pop in the darkest darks, we're going to blend those darks over, and that's how we get 3-dimension with fur. This little section that I've been working on right here took me about a half an hour by itself of just flicking in tiny little hairs, but also using the darks to map the curvature of the face. Again, we're repeating the process that we were doing before, establishing the darkest darks, using yellows here as a highlight, and then using the darks to once again wrap the fur with that nice rounded texture to show where all the lightest lights are. We're going to repeat the process again here on the top, but I don't actually have to go too far because this is a little bit darker. So what I want to do is actually use a darker brown to pull the fur around the eyeball, up and around, and that's how once again we're going to get that nice 3-dimension feel. And at the 9-minute mark, if you are with me for this, thank you so much. It's been a blast to do this piece. It's incredibly fun. I love the way it came out. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out. It lets YouTube know that you really like the content. And if you like the tips and tricks along the way, then please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we are just about finished with these last little details with the paint pen and the little ink marker as we call this piece complete.